right before COVID, about 1 year before, I took a break from fighting to go to an online master's program for precision nutrition. I just wanted to learn more about, how to be healthful. It's not just about like doing a 6-week fad diet. It was more, I wanted to peel back the layers of the onion and figure out how I can help other people as well make changes in their life that are going to be healthful. And it really just comes down to, it's more than just what you eat and working out, it's a whole lifestyle. So as I started to go down that path, I was just learning and discovering things and started to grow microgreens, which was one of the major turning points of how the Botanist was started. But my struggle is always space, and I don't have a lot of space. I live in an apartment. I really got into more of the urban gardening, growing inside in containers on my balcony, and it was going pretty good. Graduated with my program, passed, of course. And then basically COVID hit, and so when I was ready to go out there in the world and help everybody, things were a little rocky. I was doing hair, I was doing personal training out of my old studio, and then now I was adding a nutrition coaching as well to my service list. However, most of those things we weren't able to do during the period for some shutdowns, so I had to figure things out. I knew I didn't want to shift my business to purely online. I do like using online and the internet and things like that as a tool to help connect with people, but I just knew it's not for me to sit behind a computer all day and train people online. When I couldn't work, me and my partner, we were just, at home. Definitely was drinking lots in the beginning. And then I shifted my focus into learning, and, plants and gardening was a new growing hobby. I really had just started it that season. I think I got into it. My boyfriend's parents bought me a Click and Grow for Christmas. It's a little hydroponic, fill it with water, fill it with nutrients, put your plant pods in, and it grew, and I was just really enamored by that. Got online and started doing courses, started growing microgreens inside. I bought, of course, not one rack, but like a whole huge rack. I was doing like 10 or 20 shelves of microgreens, got all the lights. Basically was doing a little kind of learning operation in my home, and I thought, how could I maybe do more of a business with something like this? Started developing what I called Microgreens Dealer. Microgreens Dealer, essentially, I was growing microgreens and then selling them by donation during our lockdown periods because I had nothing else to do, and I thought, okay, well, let's raise some money for the food bank. I know like people need help at those times when they're unable to work. I was decently okay to be able to fund the process and just having fun with it. My friends were buying greens from me in the parking lot, which kind of made me think of the funny name Microgreens Dealer. If anyone, ever bought weed when they were a kid, you would understand. And if you didn't, you wouldn't understand. I thought, I'm going to start developing this idea, this brand. In the back of my head, I thought, I always wanted to open a plant store. So that was also kind of a seed that was there. I was watering the Microgreens Dealer one, started to do a logo, developing that path, thinking like, okay, let's look for a space. Had some really cool concepts, but really my moneymaker was doing my hair. Personal training, I was still building it. Nutrition, I was still building it. And I can only be in one place at one time. I was feeling a little bit stretched out, and I wanted to consolidate. Coming out of COVID, I was noticing people really afraid of each other, and you'd be walking your dog, like your cute dog, like my chihuahuas, and people would cross the street, or then there was just so much unrest, whether it's politically or just medical views. And I was finding that in the plant side, the plant world, people were generally you can connect on some level. And we don't all need to have the same views to be able to connect. So I thought, okay, maybe I'll start with some kind of plant idea, plant store, not necessarily growing food. And I called that my gateway green. And I thought, okay, well, I need money to do the business, so I'll need to be able to do hair still. So those two concepts can go together. I was worried, for sure, working with the city, that maybe they wouldn't approve it. Always the worst thoughts go through your head that it's, you're not going to get approval, it's not going to happen, whatever the case might be. And started kind of loosely looking for a space. So I didn't have any startup cash, no funding. I didn't even have a credit card actually at the time. And yeah, basically, when you're looking for a space, you know, it's kind of scary looking for something when you don't really have any money to put into it. But I had the idea, and I knew it could work. I believed in my idea, so started looking, again, very lightly, and I was finding some spots. I would see the sign for lease, and then I wasn't going for it, just kind of based out of fear, I think. Wasn't investigating further because I thought I'm not going to be able to afford it, or it's, you know, the timing's not right, whatever. Just all the things that would go through your head when you're starting a new business. And then my boyfriend was walking his dog, or our dogs, in the area, and saw the sign for lease in this spot, right in that window right there, and sent me a picture. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to call. I'm just going to see how much it costs. And that was about 1.5 years ago. And ever since then, I have not stopped. I met with the landlord. My concept still at that time was a little bit more, you know, microgreens, hair, plant store. Once I started talking with the city, it went into, okay, let's ditch the microgreens growing because it's a lot of work. It's a daily task, and I wanted something that's just a little bit easier, more streamlined. So I thought, okay, urban gardening. This is my jam, you know? How can I help people that live in a city be more healthful, grow their own food from seed, have plants in their space, you know, cultivating plants, keeping them alive, because I didn't do it for many years. So finally, when I unlocked that level, I wanted to share it with other people. The landlord, you know, again, liked my idea, and before long, I had the keys in my hand. I didn't want to rush into anything right away, because again, definite fear base, just was like, what if it doesn't work? And then you get to the point of like, fuck it, let's just go for it, let's just try it. The worst case scenario is that it fails, and it's just more of a money thing, and I can make more money. I know I have the skills to make money doing hair training, whatever. I'm happy to pivot. November 25th ended up being our opening date. It will be 2 years coming up this November, so in about 8 weeks, which it just passes by so quickly. When I look back at the past pictures in the store, I just think, oh, it's so empty. And I remember having the thought that when people open the door, I want them to open and be like, wow. Still to this day, like a lot of people that haven't come to the store, we get new people every day, and like I hear that reaction. So, you know, all the like 7 days a week, 12-hour days, longer, whatever, it pays off in those moments to be, you know, to see people's reaction. Happy that people love the store. I want to keep adding and evolving, and I don't know what's next. I don't know where I'll land, but I know that I'm not happy being stagnant, that I want to keep growing. I want to keep learning. I want to keep doing more. More for people, for the community, for the store. My tagline, when I was like thinking of it all and things are coming together, is connect, create, and cultivate. And I found in the space that I've been able to do that. I've been able to connect with people, cultivating plants, both for pleasure and for food. I'm helping educate people and just really building something cool that I hope will be really long lasting. He's a zero waste chef in Ireland. And so basically he has all these things where you're using like common vegetables and stuff. Where's this little fold out? So, right, what you can do with everything.
Nice.
Which is really cool.